Welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Ellen Barrett. Thank you so much for joining us today. And if you're hoping to learn more about your money or how to manage it, these are the guys for you. I've got Dan Weiss and Tim Bickmore. And now you're both the co-founders and also financial advisors. And then Tim, you're also a CFP with LBW Wealth Management. What a title. You guys do everything.
We try, I guess.
Very impressive. Thank you guys so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
And how was LBW founded?
Really, we founded LBW, it's very simple because we wanted to help people. I know that's very cliche, but that's really our objective going forward, not just today, but in the next 20, 30 years, really.
I love that. And simple and, I think a great vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all, there's actually a third partner too, the L. And we're very different people.
Yeah.
But we all share a common dissatisfaction within our industry, and we're partly referring to a poor reputation earned by some of our peers.
Mm-hmm.
But we also often see that firms are conforming or having clients conform to the firm, I should say.
Sure.
We'd rather see these firms conform and customize their efforts towards the client, and just don't see enough of that.
Client focused, really.
Yeah, client focused,
That's
indeed.
awesome.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of clients do you guys work with?
So we really work with a breadth of clients.
Yeah.
So it could be anywhere from an individual to a business to a small business. But really what we're looking for in a client isn't necessarily assets under management. What we want is we're looking for really two specific things. The first one is mentality. And when we say mentality, we're really looking for somebody who understands what we're trying to achieve as a firm and what we're trying to do for them as well. They could have $1,000, they could have $1 million. It doesn't necessarily matter to us. We want to enjoy working with our clients because we do spend a lot of time with them. And so that's probably the number one driving goal for us to bring on a client.
And personality becomes obviously very important there
Yes.
too. If we intend to spend more time, more labor with our clients, we honestly need to like our clients.
Right.
Yep.
And we hope that that's a mutual feeling as well
Right.
too. So there's that. And I guess I probably should add too that we're not the right fit for everybody.
Yeah.
We really kind of need to evaluate if it's warranted to pay us.
Yeah.
And we're very transparent and honest about helping a client decide whether or not we're the fit.
I love that. And
Yeah.
because I know you guys mentioned this in the beginning, but I think people kind of have an idea of what they think of when it comes to wealth management. And
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are so cool, down to earth, really focused on the client and helping both parties grow, which I think is just really cool. And like you said, transparency is really important. And you guys provide quite a few different services, is that right?
That is true, yep. So the three core services that we provide are financial planning, estate planning or estate education, and
Okay.
then value-based investment management. We also do, when we first started the firm, we didn't really realize this was going to be a part of our service, but business consulting. So we do work with a lot of business owners, small business owners, kind of become that sounding board for them. And then we also do a little bit of insurance. Mostly that's in Dan's realm. That's
Sure.
where he kind of leads in the firm. But those three core services is really what we provide.
Our overall efforts are really to provide financial education, to be educators, to be leaders in the community, and not be there to sell financial products and services. Right.
Which I think in the topic of finances, there is really a lack of education and there's a really big divide. So that's really cool that you guys are focused on bridging that gap.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And would you say that's kind of one of your goals as a firm?
Really, our biggest goal is to transform the perception of wealth management.
Yeah.
And as Dan says very often, wealth development. So a lot of people talk about wealth management. People will get scared because they say, oh, I don't have wealth. And all of our answer is, you don't necessarily. We never said you had to have wealth because
Right.
everyone's developing it. Somebody with $1,000 developing wealth to somebody who's trying to prepare for the next generation who has millions of dollars. We're always trying to continuously develop it going forward. And like Dan mentioned earlier, our industry's earned a tarnished reputation,
Yeah.
and we want to transform that perception of it's not always that bad and it can be good. And we want to change the industry from that aspect. That's one of our big
Absolutely.
goals.
Yeah, we're determining our success really based off of the next 10, 20, 30 years. Clients hopefully voicing to us that they've had a better and improved quality of life because of the partnership that we're forming with them. And for us, all the other measures that somebody might consider success are byproducts of being passionate about what we're doing and supplying that kind of interest.
Absolutely. Again, Dan and Tim with LBW Wealth Management, thank you both for being with us today.
Thank you again for
Thank you
having
so
us.
much.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much. And we'll be back with more Talk of the Town right here on Wisconsin's 57 after this. This celebrity interview is brought to you by Dame Buy Local. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Ellen Barrett. And now imagine the main street in your hometown getting a $500,000 makeover, plus marketing and business experts all coming in to help local businesses learn and grow. It happened in Wabash, Indiana, and now we get the opportunity to help choose the next community for this. And it's the latest chapter in the Small Business Revolution Main Street, and here to tell us all about it is the program's creator, Amanda Brinkman of the Deluxe Corporation, and one of the most popular businessmen in America, possibly the nation, I may dare say, and the world. From Shark Tank, Robert Herkovich, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having us.
Now, Amanda,
The
tell
world,
us
really?
about...
The world, wow.
You are a big deal.
Thank you.
You are
Well,
a
tell
pretty
us
big
about this
name,
program,
I
Amanda.
would say. At least us here in Madison, Wisconsin. For sure.
Now he's running the interview. All right, so the Small Business Revolution is a movement. We really wanted to create a revolution around getting more people to support small businesses and to really understand the impact you can have by supporting small businesses in your small town. And so this program was designed to invest $500,000 in revitalizing one small town's main street. And we're in year 2 of it. And this year we received 14,000 nominations, and we've narrowed it down to 5.
Every state.
Wow.
Every state was represented. I mean, people are passionate about these small towns. And so we are encouraging people to go to smallbusinessrevolution.org, find out more about these finalists, and vote for your favorite.
What an incredible opportunity. And now, Robert, has Small Business Revolution Main Street left an impact on you personally?
Well, it's such a great opportunity to get involved. You know, at Shark Tank, we've been doing this for 8 years, but here we're going into really small businesses that have a lot of stakes on the line, and they're not only trying to survive as a business and help themselves, but also help their community. And it's really about making an impact, and boy, you see it right there.
Absolutely. Such a big impact for these small communities. And now, Amanda, tell us about this year's finalists and where we can vote and learn more.
Yes, so this year's finalists, there's 5 of them. They are Kingsburg, California, Georgetown, South Carolina, North Adams, Massachusetts, Bristolboro, Pennsylvania, and Red Wing, Minnesota. And you can find out more about each of these towns and what this investment would mean to each of these communities at smallbusinessrevolution.org. Again, there we have some mini documentaries and more information on each of the towns, and that's where you can vote.
Awesome. And Red Wing, Minnesota, not too far for us here in Madison, a close neighbor, if you will.
Oh.
And now, Amanda, what have been the biggest lessons you've learned while working on the Small Business Revolution Main Street project? I'm sure there's many.
Many, but really it again underscored how important small businesses are to small towns. The two things go hand in hand. If a small town really wants to thrive, it needs a strong small business community. I mean, when you tell people to go visit your small town, you talk about the small businesses. You reference specific small business owners. That's what makes your community great. And so it's really about how important small businesses are to these small towns. I was also very moved by the passion of the small business owners we worked with in season 1. I mean, Wabash, Indiana is full of amazing people, and the way that small business community came together was really remarkable.
Absolutely. And Robert, how did the Small Business Revolution impact last year's winner? I know, Amanda, you touched on this a little bit in Wabash, Indiana. And where can people watch season 1 to get a sense of what's in store for this year's winners?
Well, we really encourage people to go to smallbusinessrevolution.org, and you can see the entire first season with Wabash, Indiana. And what's amazing, as Amanda says, is you can see how important the stakes were to them and the impact that we had on them. And then you can see a mini documentary on the 5 finalists this year, and then vote for them. But, you know, the biggest impact, I think, was a sense of momentum, a sense of excitement and reawakening. It's hard to live in a small town. It's hard for these small businesses. They've had good days. They've had bad days. There's big box retailers. They're under siege from a variety of different sources. And this was really just a way for them to kind of fight back and create a movement and put a stake in the ground.
I love it. And quick before we go here, we're almost out of time. I just want to know from each of you, what would be your tip to small business owners, as they're a large part of our community as well?
I think it's really about making sure that you have your marketing in great shape. Marketing can make the biggest difference on the health of your business and the growth of your business. And from a marketing perspective, it's most important to make sure you're findable online. A really strong brand, a consistent one, a great website, making sure you're staying in front of your customers. But marketing can make the biggest difference. And oftentimes we feel that small business owners kind of struggle with that. But finding a great partner to help you with it can get you back to doing what you love.
I would just say, really understand what you're great at. Don't be a me too business, because there's a lot of me too's. Be great at one thing.
I love it. Awesome tips. Again, Amanda and Robert, thank you so much for being with us today. A real pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with more Talk of the Town right after this. This celebrity interview was brought to you by Dame Buy Local. Welcome back to Talk of the Town, and we have got some delicious foods in front of us today, and to tell us about them, I have Elizabeth Lowry and Dan Fox. Elizabeth is the event coordinator, and Dan is the chef with Heritage Tavern and also Heritage Catering, and we're going to be talking about the catering side of things today. Thank you both for being with us. Appreciate it.
Our pleasure, yeah. Thanks for inviting us.
So tell me a little bit about what you guys offer, and obviously the things we have in front of us today are just beautiful, gorgeous stuff.
Thanks. Well, from the chef perspective, it's all handmade, handcrafted food. Nothing comes out of a box. We very much focus on presentation, make sure everything is farm fresh. We shop the farmers market every Wednesday and Saturday, and personally designed menus specifically for our customers.
Wow. What a fun way to add a different element to your event, do something completely unique just for you.
Absolutely.
And so what would you say is different or special about Heritage Catering? And obviously, I know you mentioned the farm fresh, the unique menus. I'm sure that's a big part of it as well.
I think that's some of the things that set us apart is
Yeah.
we work with each client to figure out what they're really looking for their event, whether it's, their big wedding day or a corporate event, and then design a menu based around what they have told us and what they're looking for. So that and our connection with the farmers, the fact that we produce, some of the food ourselves and have a real connection with other farmers. And one other thing that really sets us apart from a lot of other caterers is that we actually have basically a commercial kitchen on a trailer that we can take on site to any event. So we're not preparing food ahead of time and serving it after it's been held warm for hours. We're actually preparing on site. So
I want to touch on, I know you said being farm to table, and I want to know more about that. You guys actually have a Fox Heritage Farms, is that correct? Raising your own animals. Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure, it's a pretty exciting part of our business.
Yeah.
We farm heritage hogs around the southern Wisconsin area. We actually have a network of 6 Amish farmers that we own the animals, and
Sure.
they do all the animal husbandry for us. It's our feed program, and what's really neat is we can work specifically with customers, especially with things like pig roasts and other farming elements, to really have full backward integration into an event.
How cool, too, to just know where, if you are eating meat, where it's coming from, and knowing that how it was raised and how it was treated, I think is really important to people.
Absolutely. Yeah, the farm to table, I think, has gone beyond just being a trend, and especially for us, it's truly a passion to make sure we are ethically sourcing, sustainably sourcing our food, and specifically since we're raising it ourselves, we have really taken that next step.
And I'm sure the quality as well plays a part in, when it is raised locally. And I'm sure that's something you probably can speak to more than maybe those of us who aren't as educated in being a chef. But does that play a part in it as well?
100%.
Okay.
That's actually why we started farming, was to uphold that level of quality. And not only doing the farming ourselves, but building direct relationships with other farmers in the area, really, I think, drive our quality of food above and beyond.
Now, Elizabeth, I know you did mention the mobile kitchen, and I want to know more about this as well, because it sounds really cool.
So it's essentially, 20-foot long trailer maybe. It's got 2 commercial ovens with 6 burner gas range tops. We've got a fryer. We've got other equipment on there. It's covered, so we can take it anywhere and everywhere in pretty much any weather. So
Literally a mobile kitchen.
Absolutely.
Not skimping on everything. You have everything you need.
No.
And what would you guys say is the strangest or the weirdest place that you have ever, gone to for an event?
Well, I think people really do come to us for that farm-to-table feel. So we literally have gone out and set up in the middle of farm fields. Probably the
Wow.
most obscure that I can remember was setting up in a barn with an 8-foot ceiling and kind of had to squeeze everything in and hike everything
Wow.
over to the tents. But it was a beautiful wedding and a beautiful day, and really it turned out pretty spectacular.
Now, do you guys have any events coming up quick before we go here?
We do. We have lots of events coming up at the tavern all the time. We're
Yeah.
always doing special dinners that we pair with brewers and whatnot. And one really fun one that we're excited about this summer is Outstanding in the Field, which is a national organization. They travel all around the country and put on these amazing dinners. We're pairing with J. Henry Bourbon, and we, like Dan just mentioned, will literally be serving dinner in the fields. So it's a really
Great
neat event.
stuff. And you guys must be very busy, but doing great stuff. We love it. Again, with Heritage Tavern and Heritage Catering, be sure to check them out or call them for your next event. Thank you guys for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with more Talk of the Town right after this. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. With me now, I have Brennan Nardi. She's the Communications Director over with the Madison Community Foundation. Thank you so much for being with us today.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. And it is the 75th anniversary for your organization. Wow. So happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Congratulations. That is a huge achievement for you guys.
milestone.
Absolutely. And for people who may not be familiar, tell us a little bit about your organization.
Sure. So we were established in 1942 as the Madison Community Trust. And it was established by civic and business leaders who at the time wanted to support soldiers returning from World War II.
Wow.
Right, so a long time ago
Yeah,
to
yeah.
think about that, and the folks in the community already just so generous and thinking of returning soldiers and their families. Over time, it became Madison Community Foundation in the late 70s, and really got a foothold in the 80s when community and business leaders began raising money in earnest to support variety of charities throughout the Madison area.
So how does the organization work and help different organizations?
Sure, that's a great question. So donors, you, me, anyone, you can give money, you can give cash, and you can give personal property, stocks,
Wow.
mutual fund shares, retirement plan assets. You can name the community foundation in your will or estate plan when you get to that point in your
Sure.
life and career. What we do is the community foundation builds endowments, and we invest the assets from those endowments and the earnings and the growth that comes back. Donors can choose to advise the grants that they distribute from those endowment funds, or they can trust MCF to use those resources wisely and give grants around the community.
So what kind of grants are these and who are they going to?
Sure, wide variety of community impact grants, they're called, and the ones that the Community Foundation gives grants to throughout the year are focused on so many different things in the Madison community, from arts and culture to the environment to learning to education. So,
Yeah.
and some of the things that you wouldn't think of that are so Madison really wouldn't be here but for the generosity of our donors through the Community Foundation. So Monona Terrace, Overture Center for the Arts.
Wow.
You're cleaning up our precious lakes. That's a big deal right now, and the Community Foundation has been really at the table working with the organizations who are involved, including the Clean Lakes Alliance, to really push that forward. It's an important issue for the quality of life here and for our environment. Transportation for our seniors, outdoor classrooms, community schools. There's just, if you look around Madison,
Yeah.
there's so much of it has been built really by philanthropy.
Oh, I love that. And I like your point, talking about things that are Madison, that we're like, it's so Madison. It's maybe sometimes things we take for granted that
Exactly.
have to be sustained if we want future generations to enjoy them as much
Exactly.
as we did. So I think that's awesome. And now, like I mentioned, 75th anniversary. What are your plans as an organization to celebrate and commemorate this milestone?
Great big plans.
Yeah.
We're going to give a series of grants beginning in May. So we're going to announce one grant a month for 12 months.
Wow.
And these grants are going to go to nonprofits to support programs and projects that are going to make the Madison area an even better place to live, work, and play. So a couple of the surprises in store, perhaps just sneak previews. So there's a big building that sits in atop the Isthmus, and it's celebrating its 100th anniversary. So we're going to be doing having some fun and celebrating and supporting the community around the anniversary. We are a bike community, so we will definitely have some projects around biking and kids and getting more kids on bikes and owning bikes and using bikes. And oh gosh, just 10 more. So to be every month for 12 months. So we're going to be really busy getting the word out about the Community Foundation, and we're excited.
Oh, absolutely. And we're out of time, but quick before we go, if people want to get involved, how can they do so?
Sure, go to our website, madisongives.org. You can become a donor now, or you can become a donor later, and just check out all the events that we're going to be having going on around our 75th.
I love it. Again, Brennan Nardi with the Madison Community Foundation, thank you so much for being with us today.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it. And thank you to all of our guests, and thank you for watching today. You can find us next time on Talk of the Town on Wisconsin's 57 Television.